Fighting games have been a part of gaming culture since 1976. Since then, we've seen countless greats from Street Fighter to Smash and so many more. But why haven't we seen one reach the heights of other popular esports like Counter-Strike, LoL, and Fortnite? As someone who competed in Smash for 8 years, I think there are a combination of factors, and that Player First Games Multiversus has put itself in the best position possible to break through to new heights. I'm Bucky Mayer, and in this video I'll tell you why Multiversus will reach heights never before seen by a fighting game. Let's get into it. Part 1. Gameplay. Most important to every fighting game, and most games period, is gameplay. Without good gameplay, it doesn't matter how much else you get right, so we'll start there. In a fighting game, you want gameplay to feel rewarding, satisfying, and you want a high skill ceiling that keeps players feeling like they've got more skills to master, without having too many intimidating plateaus. Whether you're dash dancing or maneuvering through the air, Multiversus has great movement. The characters have unique and faithful design with depth to their kits, rewarding you for mastery. As you play your character and get used to their setups and playstyle, you unlock perks to keep how you play them feeling fresh. Beyond that, abilities designed to help your teammates, whether through buffs or yoinking them back on stage, add to the strategic nature of team play. Characters have depth and archetypes, and generally play quite differently from each other, making them all feel more easily lovable for their unique style while keeping them true to their IP. Another important piece, especially when considering spectating, is that combos are satisfying and they look as good as they feel to hit. Aside from focusing on 2v2 battle primarily, they further differentiated themselves in gameplay by opting to remove common tropes like grabs and blocking, which forces you to be more aggressive generally and more calculated with your dodges. Gameplay is key across the entire spectrum of players. Great gameplay makes games exciting to watch, awesome to play, and worth it to get good at. Games like Super Smash Bros. Melee may lack things like skins, battle passes, online play until recently, progression, and so much more, but are sometimes able to thrive for years primarily because of the great gameplay they offer. Part 2. Accessibility. Once you have a great product, or in this case, great gameplay, it's time to start getting players to actually pick it up and play. Taking a player from interest to a committed player is hard, and typically fighting games struggle more than most genres at doing this. For most fighting games, you need to sink hours into training and practicing before you're pulling off cool combos and feeling proud about your play. That alone is a barrier to entry, and beyond that, playing alone makes it hard to find people near your skill level to grow and improve alongside. Multiversus tackles these problems extremely well, relative to most other fighting games. Off the bat, you have a tutorial that takes you through the basics of the game and gets you your first character, and beyond that, there are optional advanced tutorials. Once you finish, you can start playing, and their matchmaking system, at least so far, is great at matching you with people around your skill level. Most fighting games do that, but what's different about Multiversus is the rest of the experience. Typically, you'll choose one of the characters that's currently free, or the one you unlocked from the tutorial, and start playing a bunch of games with them. As you play, you'll level up that character, fast at first, earning you tons of gold and tapering off later, and as you level up, you're getting better with that character and gaining perks to keep them feeling fresh, and to give you a sense of progression. You're gonna get things to show for your play. And as you play, you're also being exposed to other characters which you might fall in love with. So by the time you're feeling decently experienced, you've gotten all your perks and leveling is slowed down, you find yourself with just enough gold to make a decision on which character you want to try next. This creates a loop that will keep you busy and engaged until you're a dedicated and engaged player. Suddenly, you'll realize you're more familiar with all the characters and you're now a more experienced player yourself. With a dedicated ranked mode coming soon, that'll be the easy next step into your competitive experience. The speed at which a ranked mode is coming is great too. They released public beta to get a sense of balance before fast following now with ranked to reward players for their dedication. So far, this game has been an easy pitch for me to get numerous friends downloading and playing with me. Free, non-committal, recognizable characters, and once they're in, thanks to this thoroughly thought through onboarding experience. Part 3. Friends. Speaking of friends, it's no surprise that social ties are what keep players retained long after they might have otherwise moved on to another game. The community I befriended through Smash kept me there for years after I might have switched, and Multiversus' emphasis on 2v2 combat paired with its gameplay have been making it exceedingly easy for me to get numerous friends to try it out and play with me. After a small free download, a quick 5-minute tutorial, and a Steam invite, they're in. The effort to launch with cross-platform, a make or break nowadays for any multiplayer games aiming to be huge, also allows added flexibility here. Beyond that, after just a few matches with friends, I find them falling in love with and choosing a character they want to get better at. They'll quickly be seen playing on their own to practice and telling me about the YouTube videos and guides they've watched to get better at their characters. There's something magical about how this game has hooked such a wide audience of my friends. I've tried to pester them with flavors of the week before, where they may eventually try games, but always fall off quickly. Multiverses, on the other hand, has had a 100% hit rate for me so far, and it being focused around 2v2 makes it easy for me to always have a friend to share awesome moments with. Multiverse's on-ramp for friends is awesome. In 2v2 ladder matches, if they're just starting out and not doing the best, it doesn't make games feel insurmountable. Very quickly, they're pulling off moves that feel really great to them, and they're getting into the groove of how they want to play. One thing I'd like to see here, especially with players used to playing in 1v1s and other fighting games, and with the emphasis on 2s and Multiverse's design, is a better system for finding teammates and partnering with them after public 2s games. Things like optional voice chat, easy integrated adding systems, etc. could really help drive more people towards a fun and memorable 2v2 experience. Part 4. Polish. Once you've got your onboarding, core loop, shareability, and retentiveness down, you're probably already feeling like a game is ready to launch. Multiverses didn't stop here though, and went much further on public beta launch with the immense level of polish. Over the years, we've gotten used to games launching with little to no polish. Hell, a lot launched with just a gameplay loop and no progression or retention features, period. Typically, polish can be deprioritized under the delight category, where development teams can have a hard time justifying taking on more development cost and pushing back launches for things like fancy animations, endgame screens, a dedicated practice mode, extra character interactions and voice lines, in-depth stats systems, and more. As individually, the potential impact those have on retention and acquisition feel much smaller than the cost outweighing them. However, as a whole, they add a ton of value to drawing players in, keeping them there, and making the whole experience feel more delightful. Multiverses is launching with all of them. It's impressive to see how much the development team clearly cares about the player experience. Not through just all of the basics being nailed down correctly, but through the polish and clear love they have for making an awesome and memorable time playing. I still find myself chuckling at voice line interactions I hear between characters, like Shaggy fanboying the Batcave, or Batman bantering with Superman, or Arya Stark throwing shade at Shaggy. These so easily could have been missed if the dev team didn't have a clear vision and drive for building what they believed was critical for Multiverses. When you pair such a level of polish onto everything else I've talked about, it really brings Multiverses over the top. And the development team should be celebrated for this, as we don't often see this level of care in games of this scale. Part 5. Broad Appeal. The last thing I want to talk about to bring this all together is the broad appeal of Multiverses. The broad appeal comes through in how easy it is to pick up and play, how easy it is to watch, the aesthetics of the game, and the characters that make up its current and future roster. This game, more than most fighting games, truly feels like it's for everyone, which lends itself to a massive total addressable market of not just fighting game players, but anyone who wants to pick up and try a game. Through this partnership with Warner Brothers, they have access to hundreds of characters people know and love, and the aesthetic they've chosen not only fits its goofy and lovable game design, but similarly to Fortnite, it's already been shown to be translatable to characters from all sorts of mediums and genres, while still making the cast all feel like they're meant to be there. The design and emphasis of combat also makes the game entertaining to watch and get excited about. And while at times in 2v2s there feels like there's a lot going on, it's always quite a spectacle. Part 6. What Multiverses needs to keep doing. All of these things I've mentioned really make Multiverses stand out to me. But the impressive launch up to now, coupled with how we know people move on from games very quickly nowadays, with exceptions for some of the titans, to take it to the next level, Multiverses needs to ensure it keeps doing what it has been, which to me are transparency. For anyone who's been on Twitter lately checking out anything Multiverses, you'll likely have seen replies or posts from Tony. Tony is the game's director, and throughout Multiverses, he's been entrenched in the community. He's been having constant conversation with the community, conversation encompassing surfacing bugs, how the game should improve, and what's coming or being worked on. This type of transparency and dedication to open dialogue has been extremely refreshing and greatly appreciated. And while I'm sure it also makes for changes in the game that the dev team has confidence people will love and are looking for, it also gives the player a sense that the game has a kind of longevity to it that you can just dive into and trust you'll be taken care of. It really reminds me of Riot in the early growth of League of Legends. Supporting the competitive ecosystem. With early tournaments, one of which just taking place at EVO with the $100,000 prize pool, dedicated players and influencers have something to play for. There's a further reason to push to not just be good, but to be the best. Competitive players play more often, they typically spend more, and support the game. Competitive ecosystems also offer a natural acquisition tool. Players see big tournaments and high prize pools as a sign of a game's size, and it entices them to give the game a try. It also is a great natural retentive tool, as tournaments offer motivation to keep playing the game and trying to get better. I'd love to see continued support for esports. Something akin to a yearly tour like Brawlhalla would be great in the future, one that's open to all and leaves room to surface the best and brightest players. Frequent updates beyond just balance. Lastly, key to Multiverse's success in retaining players, more than just a ranked mode, needs to be frequent updates. Multiverses needs to bring constant content, whether it be in limited time modes, battle passes and quests, characters, new maps, achievements, perks that change up gameplay of favorite characters, or a combination of all of the above. In today's day and age, with incredible games coming out more often than ever, content to keep players engaged is critical. It's one of the things Brawlhalla has figured out better than most other fighting games, that keeps its community thriving. While doing this, of course, balance is also key, and slowly changing the meta to drive players to learn new ways to play while still allowing them to love their characters will be critical to the game's ongoing success. In summary, I have loved Multiverses so far, and I'm really looking forward to being a longtime player and fan. I think they're doing all the right things so far through well thought out and amazing gameplay, its easy to pick up and play nature and accessibility, its ability to hook in and create memorable experiences with and for my friends, its insane level of polish and love, and its broad appeal, opening it up to a massive potential audience. To expand and continue its deserved success, it needs to continue the transparency and involvement in the community, support the competitive ecosystem to show a path to pro for competitive players, and provide frequent updates and content for its players both new and retained. A lot of games in development and releasing could learn a lot from how well executed Multiverses has been so far. I've been having a blast and want to give a sincere thank you in the form of this video to the development team, and hopefully help bring more people into the game with it as well. If you've made it all the way to the end, thank you so much for watching. I've only just started taking the dive into making videos, and I'm so excited to continue doing it after the love and support from my first. If you did enjoy this video, I'd be honored if you'd like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll push to make more content that you'll enjoy. Just let me know what you want to see. And if you've been playing Multiverses, what do you think they've done well? What do you think they need to keep doing? And what do you think they could be doing better? I'd love to hear it, and I'm sure Tony and the whole dev team would too. So make sure to leave it in the comments. Have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you all in the Multiverse.